Heartwarming twist. Millionaire widower discovers his daughter's incredible secret with a candy. The sun sparkled across Maplewood as the small suburban town prepared for its beloved Easter candy-making competition. For Thomas, a self-made millionaire and devoted father, the vibrant festivities brought memories of laughter and warmth, memories of his late wife, the town's candy champion. The reality of her absence gnawed at him and his 16-year-old daughter, Lily, who had transformed into a storm of grief since her mother's passing. With each passing day, the chasm widened between them, and Thomas couldn't shake the feeling that he lost not just his wife but also Lily. As she painted her world with rebellious strokes. As Easter approached, Lily felt a magnetic pull to her mother's cherished candy recipe. She sneaked into the kitchen, fingers trembling with excitement. The smell of melted sugar and chocolate danced through the air, as she lovingly recreated her mother's delicate candy sculpture, each swirl infused with memories of cuddles and sweet motherly advice. But Thomas was oblivious, drowning in the demands of his business, believing that securing a prosperous future would heal their fractured hearts. It was just another adolescent phase, he thought. Then came the competition day. Thomas watched the crowd, delighting in the decorated booths and vibrant displays, but his heart sank when he saw Lily, her eyes glistening with hope and dread. She stood next to her creation, a breathtaking sculpture that captured the essence of their lost moments, only to feel the sting of jealousy from a classmate who sought to sabotage her. With a swift, cruel gesture, the masterpiece was ruined, and Lily's face fell, a cascade of emotions racing through her like a tidal wave. For a moment, everything froze. The laughter around them dulled as Thomas approached, taking in the sight of his daughter who had lost so much more than just a contest. Her face reflected heartache so palpable it felt like a punch to his gut. Suddenly, the obsession he had with material success faded, replaced by a deep desire to shield and protect the struggling girl before him. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The townspeople began to murmur, witnessing the heartbreaking scene unfold. As Thomas faced the wealthier competitors, a surge of emotion pushed him forward. This isn't just about winning, he spoke, each word a testament to the love that had once flourished in his home. He recounted Lily's spirit, how her delicious creation mirrored a connection to her mother, every swirl a loving embrace lost too soon. The crowd felt it too. The grief, the loss, the urgency to prioritize love over wealth flooded the air. And as Thomas's voice broke through the tension, the trembling silence rippled with acceptance. Love returned, leading the charge. That was when he stumbled upon the hidden letters amidst the candy, tender notes filled with encouragement from Lily's mother, words that reignited the flame of hope in every heart present. Could this moment serve as a bridge to heal the fractures between father and daughter, or would it deepen their pain? The applause that swelled around them echoed with questions of what their fragmented family would become. With a crowd ablaze in wonder, Thomas and Lily stood on the horizon of an emotional transformation, uncertain yet yearning for what lay beyond the candy-coated chaos. As the applause subsided and the crowd turned its attention elsewhere, Thomas could feel the weight of those hidden letters pressing on his heart. He looked down at Lily, her cheeks flushed, not just from embarrassment but from the whirlwind of emotions crashing inside her. The gaze she held was one he barely recognized, a mixture of determination and vulnerability, like she was standing on the edge of a cliff, ready to leap. "Dad," her voice wavered, losing its steadiness like a wavering flame. "I wanted to show you, wanted you to see what Mom taught me." Tears brimmed in her eyes, shimmering with all the unsaid words they had both been carrying. She always felt the need to hide her pain, but now, it spilled forth. "I'm sorry about the mess. It was supposed to be special." In that moment, Thomas saw not just Lily, but a reflection of his own struggles. He realized how much he had been consumed by his work, missing the small fractures in their relationship that had grown into a chasm. Lily, he breathed, kneeling to her level, you don't have to apologize for anything. His heart pounded. We lost your mom together, and I know I haven't been present. But we can get through this. You are so talented. A flicker of surprise crossed her face before she looked down, pulling at the hem of her shirt. But Dad, everyone saw me fail. The sadness in her voice twisted like a knife. They know I'm not good enough. Not true, he replied, reaching for her hands. He could feel the tremor in her fingertips. That was one moment. And right now, what really matters is that you didn't give up. You tried, and that's brave. I'm proud of you. There was a firmness in his tone, a steadiness he hoped would anchor her. Lily looked back at him then, and for the first time in months, there was a glimpse of light in her eyes. Do you really mean that? The vulnerability in her voice cut deep, but it was also a break through a crack in the wall that had separated them for far too long. Absolutely, sweetheart, he affirmed, holding her gaze. Your mom would be so proud of you. She loved seeing you create. That's the spirit I want to help you nurture. The crowd, once a sea of sympathetic faces, now buzzed with excitement over the upcoming winners, blissfully unaware of the small miracle happening between them. And for the first time, Thomas understood that winning wasn't just about ribbons or trophies, it was about the moments that allowed them to heal. Maybe we can work on the next project together? Lily's tentative smile dared to break through her fears, and hope ignited in Thomas's chest. We can make it our own, maybe even better. He nodded vigorously. Together. We'll honor your mom in every piece we create. As they stood together, he marveled at how a mere candy competition had opened the first door to a connection he'd thought irreparably lost. But just as they began to walk hand in hand back toward the other competitors, a familiar voice broke through the crowd. It was Mrs. Clark, the town's reigning candy queen and unwavering critic, her expression unreadable. What do we have here? She said, her eyes narrowing. Taking a loss like a champ, I see. The challenge in her tone hung heavy, but it was more than just a comment. It was a test. Lily's jaw tightened. This isn't over, she murmured, her determination surfacing once more. Thomas squeezed her hand. Are you ready for a second chance? With every ounce of resilience that was blooming within her, Lily met his gaze. Yes. Let us do this. As they turned to face the challenge head-on, Thomas felt a rush of adrenaline. They were a team now, pouring their hearts into a labor of love. But as they prepared for what lay ahead, one question loomed in the air. Would this journey lead them to a greater triumph or deeper struggles? The stakes had just risen. As the next day dawned, Thomas could feel the warmth of the sun streaming through the kitchen window. It felt unfamiliar yet comforting, like the promise of a new beginning. He watched as Lily gathered her ingredients, her hands during the task moving with purpose. Flour dust rose in the air, sweetening the atmosphere, mingling with the scent of melting chocolate. It was a stark contrast to the tension of the day before, and Thomas couldn't shake the feeling that this project might change everything. Can you pass me the butter? Lily requested, her concentration unwavering. Sure. He handed it over, noticing the slight bounce in her step. There was determination in her eyes now, a flickering flame rekindled by their conversation. Okay, Dad, this time it has to be perfect. No distractions, just us and candy. Lily grinned, a hint of mischief playing at the corners of her mouth. He chuckled, no distractions. You've got it. Just us and maybe a ton of sprinkles. They both shared a laugh, and for the first time in a long while, he felt that familiar weight lift. As they whipped, stirred, and molded their way through the day, they wove hopes and memories into every piece they created. Remember when Mom would make those outrageous candy apples? Lily smiled as she recalled the memories. She always added too many toppings, and they looked like a sugar explosion. Absolutely. She always said that each piece should reflect the joy it brings. Thomas's heart ached slightly at the mention of her name, but he found solace in the fond memories. I think that's what you're doing now, Lil. You're pouring your heart into this. Lily paused, tapping the spatula against the mixing bowl. Maybe we should make something that would be enough to surprise Mrs. Clark. Something she won't forget. Thomas's eyebrows raised in curiosity. Like what? Her eyes lit up with excitement. What if we create a candy that tells a story? Each layer could represent a part of our lives. He was taken aback by her idea. That could work. It's not just candy, it's us, our journey, together. A wave of inspiration washed over them as they bonded over layers of flavors and textures. Yet, just as Lily seemed to crack the code on their masterpiece, a sudden knock on the kitchen door sent a jolt through them both. Who could that be? Thomas wondered aloud, heart racing. Lily glanced up, eyes wide. Hopefully not Mrs. Clark already. On edge, Thomas answered the door to find a young girl clutching a box of chocolates. "Hi, Mr. Hargrove," she exclaimed, her voice bright. "I'm Emma. My mom sent me to bring you these." Thomas took the box carefully, confused. "What's this for?" "Mrs. Clark asked me to deliver them. She said you should give them a taste before the next competition." A knot formed in his stomach. With Mrs. Clark's reputation on the line, this felt more like a threat than a gesture. Could it be a test of some kind? Lily leaned against the counter, arms crossed, her expression shifting to a protective stance. What do you think she hopes to gain from this? Thomas opened the box and caught a whiff of something rich and buttery, yet the tension was palpable. He couldn't shake the feeling that this was more than just candy, it was a distraction. Maybe we should taste this, and see where it leads. As they prepared to sample Mrs. Clark's chocolates, uncertainty loomed in the air. Would this be a step forward in their journey or a cruel twist in Mrs. Clark's game? But as the first bite melted in their mouths, a revelation hit him. Would surprises abound in unexpected places, and could they truly conquer the challenges ahead? The chocolate was creamy and rich, a luxurious burst of flavor. Thomas savored every bite, but there was a knot tightening within him. He glanced over at Lily, her brow was furrowed. "What are you thinking?" "I'm not sure," he admitted. "It's good, but there's something about it. It feels too perfect." "Like a trap?" Lily's voice was tinged with worry. "Yeah, a bit." Their eyes locked, and for a moment, they shared the unspoken understanding that if Mrs. Clark was involved, nothing was just what it seemed. Lily took another piece from the box and held it up, examining it carefully. "What if it's a way to keep us from focusing on our candy? To steal our creativity?" Or Thomas hesitated, contemplating both the confection and the competition looming ahead. What if it's a genuine offering? Let us not forget that we're creating something special here. Maybe this is meant to inspire us. He did not know which thought was more daunting, Mrs. Clark's possible sabotage or the prospect of their masterpiece being overshadowed by another's labor. "Let us finish what we started," Thomas said, reclaiming his resolve. "We'll take this as motivation." With newfound determination, they set back to work, mixing flour with more chocolate and stirring courage into their concoctions. The idea of creating something that had layers of their memories, the laughter shared, and the heartache endured spurred them on. Hours melted into each other as they realized the process was as sweet as the candy. As the sun dipped lower, casting shadows across the kitchen, they were enveloped in a golden glow that felt like hope. Just as they drizzled the final layer over their creation, echoes of giggles erupted from outside. The neighborhood kids were gathering for some evening fun in the fading daylight. "Hey, Dad, can we invite them to try our candy?" Lily asked, her face glowing. Thomas frowned at first, the thought of strangers tasting their labor leaving him uncertain. But Lily's enthusiasm was infectious. "You know what? Why not? Let us share our joy." They brought the tray outside, where children's laughter mixed with the scent of sweets. Every pair of eyes lit up as they tried their creation, mouths full of candy and hearts full of excitement. A small boy took a big bite, sugar-smeared smile spreading wide. "This is the best candy I've ever had." At first, they were just kids celebrating the joy of candy, but Thomas saw something deeper. They were all connecting, sharing a moment that was pure happiness, laughter echoing like music. "Dad, look," Lily said, watching the kids. "This is what Mom would be loved." Thomas felt a lump in his throat. Yeah, she would be. As Lily joined in the laughter, a flood of bittersweet nostalgia washed over him. No one is truly gone, he thought, not if the love remains. But in the midst of their joy, a figure approached from the edge of the yard. Mrs. Clark stood there, arms crossed, her presence threatening to shatter their moment. "I see you've taken your sweet time," she said coolly, her eyes scanning the tray. Thomas felt a chill. The laughter faded, replaced by an uneasy silence. Why was she here? "Let us talk about that candy of yours," she continued, a sly smile creeping across her face. He exchanged uneasy glances with Lily. What was she planning now? As the tension thickened, Thomas knew that what came next would change everything. Thomas's heart raced. Mrs. Clark's presence loomed like a storm cloud. He could feel the laughter of the children fading, replaced by a thick air of uncertainty. Lily stood beside him, her small frame tense, clutching the edge of the tray with uncertainty. "What do you mean?" Thomas asked, trying to keep his voice steady. The chill that swept through him couldn't be masked. "I mean," she said, leaning closer, "it's quite an impressive display for a weekend project. I wonder if you're sure it's even yours?" Her eyes sparkled with a threat, driving the knife deeper. "Of course it is," Lily exclaimed, her voice a mix of outrage and hurt. "We made it ourselves." Mrs. Clark smirked, savoring the tension in the air. "I'd hate to see you both get disqualified for something so simple." Thomas felt anger rise within him, but he pushed it down. Anger wouldn't help. He steadied his breath. He placed a hand on Lily's shoulder, grounding them both. "We didn't break any rules, Mrs. Clark. Our work is our own." Her eyebrows peered down at him, a condescending arch that made his fists clench. "Rules can be flexible," she said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "And I'd advise you to be cautious. After all, I know how to play this game." Lily's eyes widened, the reality of the moment settling in. She looked up at her dad, searching for reassurance. A part of Thomas wanted to shield her from the ugliness of competition, but he also recognized the importance of standing firm. "We're here to have fun," he said finally. "And to celebrate our hard work. Nothing's going to change that." Mrs. Clark paused and her smile widened, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Good luck then. I look forward to your creativity shining through. But remember, I'm always watching." With that, she turned on her heel and walked away, leaving a heavy silence behind. The kids slowly resumed their chatter, returning to their game, but Thomas sensed the unease that lingered. He dropped to one knee, meeting Lily's gaze. "Hey," he said softly, "don't let her get to you. We're proud of what we did, and that's what matters. Right?" Lily nodded, but her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. "Do you think she'll try to take our candy? Like she's done before?" "I don't know," he confessed, "but we have to stay true to ourselves. This is for Mom, remember? We can't let her negativity take that away." Lily finally smiled again, though it was a flicker. Yeah. She wouldn't want that. As they stood there, the sun dipped lower, casting long, golden rays that warmed them. Eventually, they turned back to the gathering of kids, laughter igniting anew, and Lily pulled her dad back into the spirit of the moment. "Let us just enjoy this," she urged, her earlier excitement returning. They shared the remaining candies, and the joy slowly seeped back in, but no sooner had they settled into their happiness than Thomas's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out, glancing at the screen. It was a message from a number he didn't recognize. His heart dropped as he read the text, "I know who you are. Meet me tomorrow at the corner cafe. I have something about the competition you need to hear." Confusion washed over him. Who sent this? What were they talking about? He exchanged looks with Lily, who had been watching him closely. "Dad? What's wrong?" "Nothing, sweetheart." But even he didn't believe his own words. This was only the beginning, and as Thomas contemplated the unknown, he felt an uneasy tension coiling within again. What did he just step into? "Can you keep a secret?" he finally asked Lily, the weight of his words settling. "Sure," she replied, eyes curious. "Tomorrow, we might need to do more than make candy." As they returned to the happy gathering, the shadows of the day stretched out before them, hinting that a much darker challenge lay ahead. What awaited him at the cafe could redefine everything they had worked for. Would they be prepared for what was to come? The next morning came quickly, but Thomas felt like he hadn't slept at all. The uncertainty gnawed at him, wrapping around his thoughts like a vine. He was determined not to let Lily see how worried he truly was, but his stomach churned with a mix of apprehension and urgency. "Dad, are you coming?" Lily called from the kitchen, her voice cutting through the fog of his thoughts. She stood there, breakfast half eaten, her hair in a messy bun and a bright smile that reminded him of her mother. The small table in the bright sunlit room was set, the scent of toast and homemade jam lingering in the air. "Yeah, just a minute." He took a deep breath, pushing aside his worries for one more moment. He didn't want her to feel the weight of his troubles. "I'm almost ready." After a hasty breakfast, Thomas and Lily walked to the corner cafe, the morning air crisp and fresh. The streets buzzed with life, children bustling towards school and older folks stopping to chat over steaming mugs. But none of that distracted Thomas from the weight pressing down on his chest. "Dad, why aren't you talking?" Lily tugged on his sleeve as they neared the cafe. He forced a smile. "I'm thinking about how great today is going to be," he lied. "We have a competition to win." As they approached the cafe, a wave of anxiety washed over him again. The familiar sounds of the bell chiming as they opened the door felt bizarrely ominous. He searched for the sender of the mysterious message. A shadowed figure sat at the back table, their face obscured by a newspaper, and his heart began to thump louder. "Stay close to me, okay?" he told Lily, trying to be reassuring. "Okay," she answered, surveying the cafe with wide eyes. Thomas approached the figure, his mind racing. "I'm Thomas," he said, keeping his voice steady. The figure lowered the newspaper. It was a woman with sharp features and intense green eyes. She looked familiar, but he couldn't quite place her. "You received my message." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Good. I have information that you need to hear about Mrs. Clark and the competition." "What do you mean?" His voice was firm but laced with curiosity. Her gaze flicked to Lily, who was busy examining the colorful bakery displays. "It's not just about candy, Thomas. Mrs. Clark has an agenda, one that goes far beyond her condescending remarks. She's not playing fair." "What do you know?" He leaned in closer, urgency catching his breath. "Let's just say I've seen how she operates." And she paused, calculating her next words. "You should be ready for the things she'll do to win. But I also know she has something to lose. Something big." Lily looked up, sensing the gravity of the conversation. "Dad, is everything okay?" Thomas forced another smile. "Yeah, sweetheart. Just a little adult stuff." "Right." The woman sneered slightly, and Thomas felt a twinge of anger. "You need to understand, Thomas. If you want a fair shot for your daughter, you need to fight smart. And you might need my help to do that." Bam! The ball dropped. His mind raced with thoughts of what that could imply and the dangers lurking ahead. Would accepting her help align him with someone whose motives were unclear? "What do you want in exchange?" Thomas asked, suspicion creeping in. "Just your trust. And maybe a promise you'll take this seriously after all. Protecting Lily starts with protecting your project." Thomas could feel the weight of the world pressing down on him. He was caught between the safety of going it alone or teaming up with someone who felt like another storm cloud on the horizon. He sighed, glancing at Lily, who was now playing with a candy wrapped in bright foil. This wasn't just about candy, it was about dreams, memories, and their mother's wishes. "Okay," he said slowly, "what's the first step?" The woman's face brightened with an unsettling satisfaction, sending chills down his spine. "Let us expose Mrs. Clark's tactics and turn this competition on its head." The moment hung heavy with potential. What had he just agreed to? Uncertain of what lay ahead, he took a deep breath, realizing that this was just the beginning of a challenging path. Would he be able to shield Lily from the chaos that was about to unfold? Dad, Lily's voice pulled him back into reality. He looked at his daughter, determination flooding him. "Let us do this together." But little did he know, Mrs. Clark was already plotting her next move. What he didn't realize was that this fight was going to drag more than just candy into the fray. The cafe felt like a pressure cooker. Thomas could feel the tension radiating off the mysterious woman across from him, her intense gaze piercing his bravado. He knew the stakes were higher than ever. With Lily at his side, clueless about the brewing storm, he swallowed hard, trying to steady his racing heart. "First, we need to gather intel," she said, leaning forward. "Mrs. Clark is a master manipulator. We need to find out how she is planning to sabotage you." Thomas nodded slowly, thoughts whirling. "What does that mean? How do we do that without raising suspicion?" "It's simple," she said, her eyes flickering with mischief. "Use her own tactics against her. Be charming. Be friendly. Befriend her. Watch her actions closely, and then we'll find a way to counter." "Me? Become friends with the enemy?" Thomas couldn't help but laugh darkly. "There's no way that's going to happen. It's not just about being friendly, it's about playing the game. You care about this competition not because of the candy but because of what it means for Lily's future. Don't let pride stand in your way." Just then, Lily tugged on his shirt. "Dad, I'm getting some ice cream. Can I have a scoop of the strawberry?" "Yes, sure, sweetheart. I'll be right over." He watched her trot to the counter, her innocence a stark contrast to the tension surrounding him. "So, do you have any connections to Mrs. Clark?" Thomas asked the woman, hoping she had insider knowledge. "Let us just say I know people who know people," she replied, her smile turning sly. "And I know that she has been eyeing a few new recruits for her team. Play it right, and we might get ahead of her before the competition even starts." Thomas leaned back, feeling overwhelmed. "And then what?" "Then we expose her. Show everyone that she doesn't just rely on good taste, she relies on manipulation," she said, her voice lowering. "But you have to be careful. If she senses you're onto her, she won't hold back." His mind raced with all the consequences that could spiral from this plan. Was it really worth risking the fragility of their situation? "I don't want to drag Lily into this. She's just excited about the candy project, and I'll do anything to keep it fun for her." The woman softened, a flicker of understanding in her eyes. "That's the key, Thomas. As long as you keep it about her, making it special, making it about her and her dreams, she won't have to know the darkness lurking behind the candy curtains." As he watched Lily giggling with the store clerk over flavors, he felt a swell of determination. He couldn't let her down, not when so much was at stake. But just at that moment, the bell above the cafe door jingled, and a chill ran down his spine as Mrs. Clark entered, her eyes scanning the room with a predatory glint. Thomas felt his heartbeat quicken, a primal instinct telling him danger was close. His stomach dropped. "We need to go now," he whispered urgently, grabbing Lily's hand, but before he could react, Mrs. Clark approached their table, a sweet smile plastered on her face. "Thomas, darling. I was just about to look for you." Her words dripped with honey, but her eyes betrayed a much sharper truth. Caught in the web of competition, Thomas felt trapped, knowing this was just the beginning. What kind of game was he stepping into with Mrs. Clark at the helm? What obstacles lay ahead that would test everything he believed in? As he stared into her sly gaze, determination flooded through him. They were at a crossroads, and this wouldn't just test his abilities, it would challenge who he was willing to become to protect Lily. "Dad, do you think we should talk to her?" Lily asked innocently, her eyes darting between him and Mrs. Clark. Thomas didn't want to let his daughter down. But now, standing face to face with the very person who could either make or break their dreams, he knew he had to make the right choice. "Let us see what she has to say," but deep down, a voice screamed that maybe this wasn't a conversation at all. Only time would tell. Mrs. Clark stood before them, that familiar, practiced smile stretching across her face. Her presence felt heavy, suffocating the joy that had been bubbling between Thomas and Lily just moments before. "Why, it's so lovely to see you too. Aren't we excited about the competition?" She gushed, her eyes narrowing slightly as they landed on Lily. "I'm sure you're all set to sweep the judges off their feet, little one." Lily simply smiled back, oblivious to the underlying tension. "I'm making a giant candy castle," she proclaimed, pride shining through her innocent enthusiasm. "Oh, how delightful." Mrs. Clark's smile widened, but something in her tone told Thomas it was mere performance. He felt the urge to protect Lily, knowing exactly what lurked beneath the surface. "Why don't you take Lily to pick out her ice cream?" The mysterious woman piped up just behind him, maintaining a relaxed facade. It was as if she could sense his internal struggle. "I'll have a chat with Mrs. Clark." "No." Thomas interjected, his voice sharper than he intended. He hated how easily fear could seep into his emotions. "I mean, it's okay, we can all talk together." Mrs. Clark tilted her head, feigning interest. "Oh, of course. Let us all be friendly, shall we?" The casual tone felt like daggers, each syllable echoing with mockery. Lily looked to her dad, confusion knitting her brows. "Dad, can I just get my ice cream?" "Sure. Go on to the counter, sweetheart. I'll meet you there," he said, forcing a smile again. As she skipped away, he turned back to Mrs. Clark, wishing for a shield to cover his vulnerabilities. "I have to admit, I admire your spirit, Thomas," Mrs. Clark said, leaning in closer. "But do you truly think charm alone can rival experience? I've built my reputation on cultivating excellence and desire," she added, her smirk unsettling. "Why are you here, Mrs. Clark?" Thomas couldn't hold back. "What do you gain by coming after us?" Her eyes flashed with triumph. "Let us just say, it's amusing to watch overconfident rivals stumble. In this game, it's not just about the candy," she whispered, her voice low and dangerous. "It's about the people behind it." His heart raced. He felt like a pawn in her game, but there was a flicker of hope in him. Maybe he could turn this deadly chess match around. The woman from before stepped in. "Thomas is right, Mrs. Clark. You may have twisted past victories into your favor, but this time, the rules are different." Mrs. Clark's expression darkened. "Oh? And who might you be to dictate the rules?" "A friend who is not afraid to play," she replied, an unwavering calmness radiating from her, but Thomas could sense that the air crackled with tension. Underneath the surface, the duel of wits began. How could he navigate this battlefield without losing what mattered most? "So, Thomas," Mrs. Clark said, shifting her attention back to him, "have you thought about your strategy? I recommend developing strong partnerships." She let the suggestion linger like a shadow, adrenaline surged through him. Partnerships? Is that how you maintain control? By manipulating others? A hint of satisfaction curled the corner of Mrs. Clark's mouth. It's your approach to competition that ultimately defines who you are. Just like in life. In that moment, something shifted in Thomas. He realized it was more than just candy, it was a struggle for integrity. Every move counted. Just remember, he said, locking eyes with her, steel on steel, you may have experience, but nobody knows Lily's heart better than me. And that gives me an edge you can't measure. As he stated his ground, Mr. Clark's smile faltered, her bravado wavering. Could this be the turning point? Something indefinable pricked in the air between them. Let us just see how this unfolds, shall we? She finally said, her tone sharp but with a hint of uncertainty. As she turned to leave, Thomas felt a rush of determination flood through him. But the question lingered, would he really have the strength to outmaneuver her? Just then, from the corner of his eye, he saw Lily returning, her ice cream cone wobbling precariously. She rushed towards him, excitement gleaming in her eyes. It was a beam of light in all this darkness. He had to protect that joy at all costs. But what was the real price of victory? Would he lose more than just the competition along the way? With a twinge of anxiety, Thomas looked back to where Mrs. Clark had exited, and an ominous thought crept in. What if she had something else planned that he hadn't anticipated? He felt the weight of imminent choices pressing down on him. How far was he willing to go to shield Lily from the looming storm? Lily approached her dad, ice cream cone in hand, her joy radiating like sunshine breaking through clouds. "Dad! Look," she said, her voice high with excitement. The colorful swirl of the ice cream was a masterpiece in itself, topped with a tiny paper umbrella. It was a small, perfect moment that brushed against the tension lingering in the air. He knelt down, taking in her sunny smile. "That looks amazing, sweetheart. Just don't drop it, okay?" He couldn't shake the feeling of unease behind the innocent pleasure, but seeing her eyes twinkle made it a little easier to breathe. "I promise." "Can we eat it in front of the fountain?" Lily asked, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "Absolutely." He took her hand, squeezing it gently as they walked outside. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow across the park. It was easy to forget the troubles of the day here, surrounded by laughter and families enjoying their time together. "Are you going to win, Daddy?" Lily asked between licks, her expression earnest. Thomas paused. He felt the weight of her trust like a tightrope he was balancing on. "I'm going to try my best, Lily. Just like you with your candy castle." She giggled, the sound pure and sweet. "We'll both be winners then." For a moment, he felt the tension ease, but the memory of Mrs. Clark and her sharp words hung in the air like a fog he couldn't quite shake. Would her influence seep into Lily's world too? As they sat by the fountain, watching the water dance, he wrestled with thoughts of Mr. Clark. Her confidence dangled like a thread, ready to snap. Thomas desperately wanted to protect his daughter from that darkness. Suddenly, a piercing laugh cut through his musings. It was Mrs. Clark with her entourage in the distance. They were gathered near the colorful booths, their chatter drowning out the ambience. She flashed her insincere smile, and it sent a chill through him. It was no longer just about the competition, it felt personal. "Dad?" Lily's voice broke through, grounding him. "Are we going to build our candy castle now?" He breathed in deeply, forcing a smile. "Absolutely. We'll make it the best one ever." "Like Mrs. Clark's castle?" she asked innocently. "No, Lily," he replied quickly, unable to hide the edge in his voice. "Our candy castle will be special because we'll put our hearts into it. It'll be made with love, not just sparkles." After a moment's pause, she nodded, accepting this as a truth. It was a powerful reminder that, no matter what Mrs. Clark represented, love was their greatest weapon. Suddenly, an idea sparked in his mind. What if he drew strength from this experience? What if they brought the competition together as a family project? He envisioned an epic collaboration between him, Lily, and the community. Just as he was about to share this new thought, Lily's face went pale, her ice cream cone slipping from her grasp, tumbling to the ground with a heartbreaking splat. "No!" she cried out, eyes wide with dismay. Thomas knelt beside her, but before he could say anything, a small boy ran over, ice cream in hand. He eyed the fallen cone and then smiled knowingly at Lily. "Hey, it's okay. I can share mine." Lily's face softened, and a smile crept back, this time with help from a new friend. "See?" Thomas said, glancing up at the boy's parent, who watched proudly. "Sometimes the best things come unexpectedly, right?" Overwhelmed by gratitude, he watched as they bonded over the lost ice cream. This simple moment hit like a light with a powerful message. They could face the storms together. Just then, a loud shout rang out from across the park. "Hey, you competitors! Are you ready?" It was the judge announcing the kickoff for the creative build-up. Thomas exchanged glances with Lily, excitement bubbling back into their hearts. "Ready?" he asked. "Yes," she yelled, throwing her arms up as if preparing for liftoff. His heart raced. The game was on, and it wasn't just about winning. With a deep breath, he realized there was a chance to redefine their words. But as they headed towards the booth, glancing back, he caught sight of Mrs. Clark. Again. Her gaze locked onto him, mouth curling at the edge as a wolf in sheep's clothing. The uncertainty welled up again. This was no ordinary competition. "Dad?" Lily called, pulling him back to her. "Let us win this together," he said, lifting her up on his shoulders, feeling the pulse of possibilities radiating between them, and in that moment, he knew they'd move forward as more than just competitors. They would be a team. But as they raced towards the crowd, a lingering question echoed in his mind: would that unity be enough to weather the storm that Mrs. Clark promised? The stakes were rising, but he had to believe in what they were building together. As they entered the chaos of the competition, each step brought resolutions and new challenges. Was he ready to face whatever Mrs. Clark had up her sleeve? The competition had transformed Maplewood into a vibrant carnival, buzzing with life, but for Thomas and Lily, the stakes felt heavy. They stepped forward together, hand in hand, ready to build their candy castle and shield themselves from the shadows cast by Mrs. Clark. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, laughter, and cheerful chatter, yet amidst it all, Thomas felt a pressure brewing within him, a mix of determination and protectiveness for his daughter. As they set up their booth, Thomas noticed the intricate detail Lily poured into every layer of the castle. She was alive with creativity and skill, her heart speckled throughout their masterpiece. "This is going to be incredible, Dad," she cheered, eyes sparkling with hope. He felt a surge of pride wash over him. This moment was for them, not the competition. They were cherishing the memories of her mother, transforming their grief into a joyful celebration. As they molded candy bricks and layers of sugary fountains, those around them admired the care they were pouring into their creation. Their booth became a focal point, with children gathering to watch in awe as the castle took shape. Thomas's heart swelled. This was what it meant to win, but just as excitement flourished, a sharp voice cut through. "What is this? Your castle looks, how shall I say, childish," Mrs. Clark sneered, flanked by her entourage. Thomas tightened his grip on the mixing bowl, ready to defend their creation. Lily, however, stood tall, determination surging through her veins. "It's not about the looks, it's about the heart," she declared boldly, and gasps rippled through the crowd. A smirk brushed Mrs. Clark's lips, but Thomas sensed a hint of uncertainty beneath her facade. "And very commendable, dear. But heart doesn't win competitions. Skill does," she retorted, her tone dripping with condescension, casting a shadow over the moment. But Lily didn't falter. "Maybe what wins is building something together that celebrates those we love," she continued, her voice unwavering. In that moment, her confidence lit up the space, igniting the spirits of the bystanders, and they cheered her on. Feeling a swell of unity, Thomas stepped forward, standing shoulder to shoulder with his daughter. And that is exactly what we are doing. We're not here to compete against each other, we're here to celebrate creativity and joy. His words echoed across the grounds, drawing more attention to their booth. The crowd began to clap, the energy lifting. Thomas felt the walls of isolation crumbling around him. They didn't need to look over their shoulders, they had built something meaningful. As if a weight had been lifted, the love infused in their candy castle transformed when they recognized it wasn't just a competition, it was about connection and community. Let us finish our masterpiece. Lily shouted, and Thomas returned her conviction, spurring her on. They worked faster, laughter echoing against the candy-colored backdrop as they shared the task with the curious children gathered. Then, the moment arrived. The judge's whistle sounded, calling everyone forward. Thomas and Lily stood proudly next to their creation, hearts racing with excitement. They presented their candy castle, wrapped in layers of fond memories, adorned with pieces representing laughter, warmth, and love. This, Thomas declared to the judge and the crowd, is our family's story wrapped in sweetness. Cheers erupted. The crowd rallied, embracing their heartfelt connection to the memory of Lily's mother. The judge nodded appreciatively, acknowledging the spirit behind their candy rather than just the aesthetics. In the sudden surge of applause, Thomas caught sight of Mrs. Clark, her expression shifting from disdain to something else, perhaps respect. She had underestimated the strength of a story woven through love. As the judges deliberated, Thomas turned to Lily, their eyes locking with a shared sense of triumph. "We did it, Lil. We really did it." She beamed, eyes sparkling. "We're winners because we showed our hearts. Mom would have loved this." A flood of warmth surged in his chest, overshadowing the previous tension. They had created more than just a candy castle, they had built a bridge back to each other, infused with their shared memories. When the final results were announced, Thomas held his breath, but it didn't matter what the judges said. As the first place winner was called, they felt like champions already. The connection they had revived was the real victory. Embraced by the crowd's applause, Thomas and Lily shared a radiant smile, knowing that their journey had only just begun and that they were stronger together. "Now, let us make this a tradition," Thomas suggested, glancing around at the joyful faces. "Yes." Lily cheered, her spirit soaring high as they walked away hand in hand, leaving behind whispers of doubt and stepping into the light of a new beginning. With laughter echoing in the air, the bond they shared glowed brightly, assuring them that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would always face them together. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation.